Hello and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Good evening.
Yay. Welcome along. Get yourself subscribed to the main YouTube. You can get on there for the chats as well. This is your twice weekly comedy show type thing where we look at the problems in the news, we look at the problems you sent us, and we sort that shizzle out, I believe is what the young people would say. If during the show you're enjoying it, spread the link around, send that little YouTube thing around, or wherever you're watching it, share it on social media. Let's get some eyes in the direction of our solutions, because we're going to be sorting out a lot of problems here. Also, as the show goes on, we will be mentioning that you can chuck some money in the Ko-fi, but we'll mention that more after we've made you laugh at least once. It seems rude.
Oh, shit.
Only once. After then we can start begging.
Okay.
Yeah, so share it around. Get ready for the begging coming up later. If anyone's actually pre-bought tickets as well, thank you to you. It's always nice to have your eyes in here. And I think it's time to jump in. I think I've covered all the basics. So, Eric McElroy, first problem. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Yep. I think it's a tenner per laugh. Is that right?
At this rate, yep.
Yep. Okay, cool. Yes. Well, hello, Steve. Good evening, everyone. This is a problem. Steve, how do you maintain credibility in a very incredible time?
Don't know.
Yeah. Because, if you do something wrong these days, apparently you get canceled. It's cancel culture. And then we've got COVID. So you get canceled and you get COVID. That's probably worse. And then there's probably in between the two things where you could get COVID, so you could get canceled, which is exactly what happened to Kay Burley, the Sky News reporter, which we can see here. She has been told that she's going to be off air for the next 6 months after she breached COVID guidelines because she turned 60 years old. Now, we're going to see Kay in a second. Did you know she was 60?
I did not know that she was 60.
I mean, just saying. She's got some free time. Give me a call, Kay. The problem is that she had her 60th birthday. She's looking good for it. She had a meal, and apparently in the story, there were more than the 6 people there. She went into one restaurant and then another restaurant, and then she went to an after party. So she broke the rule of 6. She broke the rule of households. And she's a journalist. She's like the lead, one of the lead presenters on Sky News, which is, if you're not from the UK, it's not even it's not fair to say it's Fox News because TV journalism is balanced here, or more balanced. It's a big news channel. It's a big deal. She's a big figure. Although her first statement about it seemed a bit weird. Here was this. She said, "Evening, everyone. This is right after it happened. I want to apologize to you for an error of judgment," she called it. On Saturday night, she's enjoying her birthday party. Again, we're all shocked that she's 60. Well done, Kay. In a compliant restaurant, which I don't know what that means, if it's a well-behaved restaurant. And she's embarrassed to say that later in the evening, I inadvertently broke the rules. Like 3 times, based on more information that we've gotten. She'd been waiting for a taxi at 11 p.m. to get home, desperate for the loo, briefly pops into another restaurant to spend a penny, which for non-British people, that means she took a shit? Is that what that means?
No.
I never understood that phrase.
I don't think that means take a shit. I do think the 2/2 means she had a dump, had a wee, had a dump again.
And she said, I can only apologize. So, I don't know. Should we punish her for having a poo? I guess that's the question. The problem is that she has been incredibly good, I think, at holding the government to account for its reaction to COVID. And she is definitely one of those journalists that can really lay into government ministers about the broken rules. And we saw this especially when a government advisor, Dominic Cummings, broke the rules famously earlier this year by testing his eyesight, by taking a drive to his family and just totally breaking all the rules. Here she is actually talking to the health secretary, Matt Hancock, about that.
From, as you say, 9 o'clock this morning, if you are instructed to isolate, then it's very important that you isolate, yes.
Immediately?
Yes, immediately, because the reason is that you will have been in close contact with somebody who's tested positive, and so you're at high risk.
What if I've got childcare issues?
I mean, I love that.
Sad.
The flick of the hair. Oh, yeah? Yeah, that's the rules? What if I've got childcare issues? What's she going to do then? Huh? I mean, she was so good at calling these guys out. I loved watching her do this because she was a badass. She's a badass, nearly 60-year-old woman who is making these guys sweat. And she could be tough on everyone. Just have a look at this.
Jonathan Van Tam guaranteed that Father Christmas will be one of the first people to get the vaccine. I checked, and he's 1,749 years old.
I don't think Santa wants to talk about his age, Kay. I mean, I know you're just turning 60, but Jesus, that's a bit harsh, laying to Santa. But here she is trying to make sure that Santa is indeed going to get the vaccine, which we need him to because he's at a high-risk group. He's also obese. Sorry, Santa. Somebody's got to say it. And here she is talking about whether or not he's going to get the vaccine.
So, is it true? Is he one of the first to get the vaccine?
Well, I think on the prioritisation, he would clearly be at the top of the list.
Okay, so that's a yes, isn't it, for all my younger viewers watching this morning?
Absolutely.
That's how much she makes government ministers sweat. The guy's asked an easy layup question. Are you going to give Santa the vaccine? And the guy's like, well, I think that I'm so used to deferring questions. I mean, I want to say that we're going to try, but I don't know, if there's anyone who may not believe it. And then she's like, are you going to give it to him or not? Oh, yeah, yes, unequivocally. That's how much she makes these guys shit themselves.
I love
made him nervous about Santa.
Yeah, that he started to try and dodge that question. But I love it that she's saying for all of my younger viewers, who in their right mind is like 8 and goes, oh, I want to watch Kay Burley on Sky News. No one. Get out more.
I have to mention that I have met her. I've been interviewed by her on television. She was nice to me. She is the size of a child. She's only about yay high. She's a tiny person. So that could be part of it. But yeah, I don't know, Steve. I mean, she broke the rules. She's actually taken a 6-month suspension for this. Government ministers like Dominic Cummings, he didn't resign for ages for that. Priti Patel, she's alleged bully. She doesn't step down. I mean, do you think it's unfair that she's being held at a higher standard than people who are actually governing us when she's just a sweet little old lady on TV?
I definitely do. I mean, Priti Patel, at least she did the half apology of saying, I'm sorry if anyone felt that I did anything bad. Brilliant. Yeah. But Kay, yeah, I think it's really harsh, especially when Rita Ora just flouts the rules and goes, I'll pay a fine because I definitely afford it. And, hey. Whereas for some reason, Kay Burley, look, I don't think she should have done it. I think people should stick to the rules. But I think it's ridiculous she has to lose half a year's worth of work. And Beth Rigsby and the other one who's, I can't remember the name of the guy, who's also taken 3 months off for it.
Yep.
And I can see that it does mean she loses moral high ground, that she can't actually say to any minister kind of, but are you sticking to the rules? And they'll be like, do you want to go for dinner? Oh. So, yeah. But, maybe we just have to take the rough with the smooth. I think it's unfair that she has that much of a punishment.
Yeah, but I guess how could she then how could she put that sass back into it? The sass that she had, it was amazing.
She'd just have to get practiced at dealing with those annoying pot shots at that one topic. Like, she still has the moral high ground against these MPs for effectively everything else. Like, only if she was being interviewed by the most saintly. Everyone else they're carrying other guilts with them that she can go, yeah, stop trying to take pot shots at the person asking the question and answer the damn question. So she could have done it. I don't think it's fair.
So I think we can agree that anyone in media, say a comedian who's on television sometimes or on YouTube sometimes, we don't have to follow the rules.
I think we should follow the rules, but if we break them, I don't think what are you going to do, make us not work for 6 months? That's my next 6 months. So actually,
we'll still be here. So bless her. 60 years old though. I mean, damn.
Into the comment section. Well, it's us. We've worked out that if you're on the YouTube, if you're on the official YouTube, we can comment in the comment section.
You can comment. Yeah, we can comment to each other.
And Chris says, evening chaps, Brits watching as well, evening all, hello. Navman says, Kay Burley down in the dumps for being dumped for taking a dump. That's the headline that no one knew they needed.
I can't read all of Mark's comments. I'll let you take that one as well.
I think
right after
that. Does just end on the ... So still meant that he got the vaccine before William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare.
That means Santa versus Will Shakespeare.
Yeah. Well, but no, William Shakespeare got the second dose. You've seen the news, haven't you?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. The fact that the second is a British man who's in his late 80s named William Shakespeare.
Yeah. I mean, surely they should have had the good sense to say, could you just sit this one out for a while? I'm sorry, I know it's meant to be random, but all of the news stories are going to be about your name rather than the vaccine. So who's next? Harold Shipman? Damn it!
Yeah, but famous names. I mean, I had a friend in high school or college who was named Timothy Leary, which Timothy Leary was he was the person who kind of made acid a thing in America, but he was the most pure Catholic schoolboy you've ever met in your life. So his parents thought people had forgotten about the 1960s Timothy Leary, but no one had forgotten about that person.
No one's going to forget about William Shakespeare as well. The bigger question here is, if you're Mr. and Mrs. Shakespeare, this guy's in his 80s, so 80 years ago thinking, let's call him William. Why do that to a child? Why? Because they could have called him anything Shakespeare.
But I mean, if your name is Shakespeare.
No. If your surname's Hitler, you don't go with the obvious first thought. You definitely go route B.
You can't have Gary Shakespeare.
You definitely could. Because imagine being called William Shakespeare. You will never going to live up to the standard of your own name. Kind of like, oh, William Shakespeare. Oh, which one do you mean? The infamous playwright or the third grade teacher or whatever the hell you've got. Bless him.
Shakespeare didn't write any of that stuff anyway. It's all a lie. Chris has said, for my younger viewers, seriously, he was offended by that as well, from Kay. Mark's also said, no wonder he had trouble with Santa. The minister is a Tory, so the idea of someone giving things away is just so socialist.
Excellent. Brilliant. So you can keep the messages coming through as we plough on through the topics. Let's get that right there.
And
if you're enjoying the show, you're getting some value out of this, you could very much help us out by funding the fact that, very much like Kate Burley, we are not working for the next 6 months, so chuck some money in the pot. It would very much help us out.
Maybe we should fill in for her.
I'm available every morning. Yeah, we are definitely available.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next problem. I want to talk politics. I want to talk Brexit. And I know the last time I tried to talk politics, I kind of went off topic a bit, and you ended up at the end of it saying there were a lot of Nigella jokes in there. I was trying to do a serious story, and we ended up, I think, just like someone in the news had said something that sounded stupid, and I said, well, if you want to hear someone else who said something stupid, did you see Nigella? And play this clip.
Right. I have given my licorice box a bit of an international refit.
What? But I'm not going to do it this time. As tempted as I am to have another go at Nigella, I want to talk about what's happening with the Brexit shambles, the Brexit mess. Front page of The Independent, Johnson fails to secure Brexit concessions. There's a headline that happened just recently, Boris Johnson saying no deal is likely. You know the negotiations are not going well when the person you're negotiating with turns up wearing a face mask of the European flag. Oh, that is playing hardball. So look, it is so late in the day now. We're nearly at the end of the year. This is an absolute mess. And people have been saying, where's the oven-ready deal now, Boris? Oven-ready's too late. We don't have time to put it in the oven. We'd need a microwave-ready meal. And if you want to hear someone say the word microwave very strangely, you need to watch Nigella.
A bit of milk, full fat, which I've warmed in the microwave.
What?
The microwave. Posh people, man. Every time I watch her, I can't understand it. And like that, I am still convinced she's losing the plot live on TV. That TV show, Cook, Eat, Repeat, is just watching someone having a breakdown in real time. In the same episode, she also said this.
My potatoes are beckoning me, but then potatoes always beckon me.
Have those potatoes told you to do something you don't want to do? Do those potatoes tell you to kill? Because she's got knives, so we need to be asking her these questions. So anyway, if you want to know about microwave things, she says...
I've warmed in the microwave.
Microwave. And what bothers me about that is that posh people go around as if somehow we common northerners don't speak properly. Like, I think you'll find it's pronounced restaurant. Is it? Well, I wonder how you'd pronounce it with a broken nose, because we're about to find out. Why? I don't know why they presume that if we say bath, oh, no, you're getting it wrong. Whoa. These posh people go around pronouncing things like microwave. Posh people think that their surnames are pronounced Coburn and Ramsbotham. No, they're not. Cockburn, Ramsbottom, shut your face, you posh git. So, bearing in mind we're dealing with...
The microwave.
The microwave. I've realised, as ever on this show, it's no point just being angry bloke about it. Turn and face the storm. Use it. So, because I'm not getting many people watching my spin-off YouTube show, Cooking with Steve, because we've done a lot of sketches that are cooking-based. So now I'm taking on some of that advice from Nigella, and she has now informed my latest episode of Cooking with Steve. Hello and welcome to Cooking with Steve. Now today we won't be using the microwave, but you will need a conventional oven. For the bread you'll need access to a toaster, and for the drink afterwards, the café maker. All of that after I've hated myself for talking this way, so stab myself in the tongue with this knife. Thanks. Posh people, man. Posh people. Honestly, she looks like microwave. You can kiss my backseat, eh? That's the only thing I've got to say on that.
You've gone posh.
Yeah, I've gone posh. I sound posh.
Yeah.
Flipping posh people.
You've gone posh. So that was still not about Brexit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good point. Well made. But I think I'm dealing with the serious issues.
Yes, and to be fair, you were more coherent in that British or that Brexit conversation than the Prime Minister was today.
Yeah.
With our Australian-style deal, which I explained to my wife is no fucking deal.
So good, isn't it? What a great euphemism.
Yeah. So Australia means nothing. Yeah, I've never watched her show.
I'd never watched a full episode of anything until this latest series, and she was in the news for using a banana peel in a recipe.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, she's doing it to get in the papers and whatever. And then started to watch the episodes because it was on. And was like, let's watch one of these. And I then just started to realise, she's losing the plot. She's eating banana peels. She's talking to her flipping potatoes. Losing the plot.
Everybody's had a hard lockdown, Steve.
Yeah.
And when you're that posh, it's even harder. Right, we'll take a look at the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's right there. Scrolling back here. What have we got back to?
I can say that Jack says, I once met someone called Bruce Slee. How could the parents do that? Yes, exactly. You got to blame the parents.
Britt says, at least the second person to get the jab wasn't Mr. Ben Dover while we ram this needle in your butt cheek.
That would have been great.
Classic. Ben Dover.
One of my sisters, the one who's no longer with us, once went to a doctor who was called Dr. Payne. And you just think, no, again, change your name. How do you not see the problem with the PR?
Yeah, they must enjoy it at some level.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Sal says, my fave Shakespeare is Wayne the Weird Shakespeare. Exactly. You see, you don't have to be called William if you've got the surname.
Yeah. I guess so, but Gary Shakespeare. Martin's asking us if we'll be bringing this show to Edinburgh next year. We haven't talked about it yet. Steve,
no.
What you thinking?
We did this year, technically, via the internet.
Technically.
But if there's an actual Edinburgh, I think maybe. I don't know.
Give it a maybe. Have Kay Burley ask us that question in 6 months' time, and then we'll answer it properly. And if you contribute to the show, then we might be able to afford it. But I think next Edinburgh will be virtual as well.
Maybe,
I'm willing to bet that right now. I'll bet that whenever you donate.
There's no way I could actually afford it right now because the cost of Edinburgh, and if the costs are the same but with none of the audience, no. Okay, I think we sorted that one out.
I think, based on the fact that they've already not had as many vaccines come through as they promised they would come through, and it's not going to happen. Let's see, those potatoes control Nigella. They give her the evil eye.
Brilliant. Do you know what? There should be more. I always love an eye-based joke when it comes to potatoes. I love it. It's a great phrase. They've got eyes in them. That kind of, That reminds me of Grandad. I love potatoes have eyes.
But Chris came in with one as well. So Mark and Chris there. Chris said, "Are the potatoes giving her the eye?" So Mark beat you to it though, Chris.
Yeah. Although they say snap. Yeah. Well played. Everyone loves a potato eye joke. I'm all for it. This is a great way to spend an evening watching people watching people you to laugh at. Hang on, get confused. This is a great way to spend an evening watching people you to laugh at Nigella all live on YouTube. I think that's meant to be.
See what he's trying to say.
Yeah, like yo to be. But the first bit got confusing as well. Sorry, that's all my fault. It's been a long week.
It's been a long week.
We've all
Britt
had a
says
drink.
there's not enough mulled wine in the house for me to ever say Microwave, and that's even on the strong pain meds I shouldn't drink on. No, Brits, don't drink on the strong. Actually, what you should do is send the strong pain meds, and we'll sort them out. Send them to us.
And then another comment before we crack on. Chris says, was that an oyster shucking knife, Kanife? No. But it looks a bit like one, doesn't it? So I'm not that posh. Imagine if the whole rant that I just did was flipping posh people. Don't posh people can't even speak properly. Have you seen my oyster shucking knife? I have not socially climbed that much, don't you worry.
No, you have not. I can say that, having known you quite well. Right.
Problem number 3.
Problem number 3. How do you solve a problem like 17 attorneys general?
Oh, I love that when you do the plural on attorneys. Oh, that's nice.
I just think that's what I. To be fair, I could just scrap the news story and talk about what is that such a weird phrase when you have two. You've got one attorney general and another attorney general. You put them together. Shouldn't you have 2 attorney generals?
No, because they are attorneys and they are general.
They're just general attorneys.
They're general attorneys, so they're general attorneys.
But they're the top attorney in the state, and there's only one attorney general in the U.S., so he's the head. He should really be the attorney admiral.
But you'd still be attorneys admiral if you had more than one of them. It's like that episode of Star Trek Voyager when there are 2 versions of Ensign Harry Kim, and Janeway refers to them as. No, I think it might be Tuvok. Tuvok's kind of get the grammar right. It says Ensign's Kim instead of Ensign Kim's.
Anyway, that's not what the story's about. Basically, there's 17 attorneys general and Donald Trump who are now suing the rest of America. Here's the headline. Trump and 17 states back Texas in a bid to undo his election loss in the Supreme Court. And this goes off the back of Trump actually sending a tweet with just one word, overturn, which means you can't overturn an election you won, Donald. So that it means you're admitting you lost.
Yeah.
You're a loser. But basically what these states are doing, these are states that Trump won. They are now suing the states that Trump didn't win to say that those votes shouldn't count. And then Trump would become president.
Wow.
Which is true. I mean, if you remove the states and you remove the votes that you didn't get, you're the winner.
Nice.
I mean, he's not wrong. You can't say Trump is stupid. You can say he's a fascist, but you can't say he's stupid. Now, the thing is, look at that headline again. What I like about that's in the Jakarta Post. As in, this is worldwide news now, which is what makes this so terrifying. Because normally America likes to say, like, we're the best democracy and you should do what we do because we're the bestest. I mean, England says they're old and stuff, but whatevs, like, we're the best. But the rest of the world that we normally lecture, it's basically America has Burley'd itself. And that should be a thing now. That's going to be a thing, isn't it?
Thoroughly burleyed.
Burley? Yeah, you burleyed it. Now, the thing is, as we've already discussed, you've got all these attorneys general from the 50 states, but there's only one attorney general. There's only one leader, right? There's only one ring to unite them all. The guy who's the attorney general right now, his name is Bill Barr. He was picked by Trump. He's been very much Trump's loyalist. He's done everything. Here's a little bit more about Bill Barr.
Bill Barr, President Trump's attorney general and loyal ally, America's top prosecutor, and a champion of conservative values.
Now, if you've ever watched any American political ads, you know when the voice is doing that it's building to something where it's definitely going to flip that shit on its ass. Because what has Bill Barr done, the guy who's in Donald Trump's pocket? Well, this is what he's done.
Now, Bill Barr agrees the election was fair, the results accurate, saying he, quote, has not seen fraud on a scale that could have affected a different outcome.
Ruh-roh. Your man you had in the pocket to solve everything and to investigate everyone, he ain't your boy no more. And that's not gone down well. There's rumors that Donald Trump is thinking about firing Bill Barr, even though he might not have that much time left in office unless he overturns everything. And that has not gone down well in Trump world. Trump's not happy. One of his biggest supporters on Fox News, Janine, she's not happy either. Here she was this weekend.
And you, Mr. Barr, are so deep in the swamp, you can't see beyond your fellow reptiles. And you are not the exceptional leader needed at this exceptional time in history.
You know what, Bill Barr? You can't see nothing. You're trash. I don't believe in you anymore. You broke my heart.
Well, she reminds me of someone. Who was it? She reminds me of? Do we have it here?
The poll book is completely off. Completely off.
Off
that
by 30,000?
I'd say that poll book is off by over 100,000.
I said that poll book is off there.
Every hen night's got one.
Oh, God, I could listen to her all the time. Now, they're not happy with Bill Barr. I mean, what is it? All of Trump's supporters now just sound like they're pissed. And he doesn't even drink. Such a weird thing. If you've forgotten about her, she was the one testifying on Donald Trump's behalf. And that was the moment where I think it was in that clip where Rudy Giuliani was even leaning over to tap her on the shoulder to be like, too much, sweetheart, which I think is what Judge Janine needed the other night. Melissa Calrone, that's that woman's name, who we showed there. She hasn't got away. She got featured on Saturday Night Live. I'd love to be on Saturday Night Live, making fun of her. But she's not going away because she was sitting next to Rudy when Rudy was allegedly sick with COVID, because he was diagnosed with COVID just a few days later. Now, normally, what happens when you're around someone who has COVID, Steve? What are you supposed to do?
Meant to self-isolate.
Well, what's Melissa done? You can see here, she's refused to self-isolate. I mean, of course she has. She thinks dead people are voting and the votes for Biden were imaginary. Why would she believe in COVID?
Wow. It's almost like she's a massive dick.
She'll only get tested if One American News Network, which is the right-wing version of Fox News, or Trump tell her to.
Imagine being so special that the only person you'll take rules from is the president.
Yeah, but she's safe, I think, because both her and Judge Janine, when you have that much alcohol in your blood, COVID can't infect you.
Bleeding hand gel. Oh, nice.
There we go. Attorneys General.
Yeah, there's a message in there about, actually, who's the... we did get a message saying 17 Attorneys General, it's like the new version of 12 Days of Christmas.
I did think about trying to do something off the back of that, but Mark, I was lazy.
Yeah. Hey, these the song ones take ages.
They take ages.
And
just don't have that.
Then you end up just looking freaky, like you're doing a version of 9 to 5. Which, by the way, side note, the lady who is performing, there's a Dolly Parton impersonator who's doing the Dolly show in Piccadilly, and it's like the world famous Dolly Parton impersonator. Somehow now has found me on Twitter. I think it Mark who actually replied to one of some comedian's song which the Dolly Parton show singer was in, and then she sent a message saying like, "Oh, you're the guy from the Mash Report thing," and then there was a gap when she said, "Oh, I've just watched your 9 to 5 video," and then another one where her comment was, right, this is the only comment she gave about my version of 9 to 5. You could have shaved. Wow. I mean, I've received some slight praise in the past. I've been damned by slight praise, but I've never just had, you could have shaved. I mean, that's exactly right. I could have done, and it probably is the only thing to talk about that video.
There we go. Have you not tried the Thames oyster, Steve?
I haven't actually. Well, because I know if you come in on the Thames, the region that has brackish water is apparently great for oysters. What do you mean I've left my working class roots behind? But I've never tried one now.
Is that like the Blue Oyster in the Police Academy?
It's very much like the Blue Oyster Club, yeah.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different thing. Let's see. Martin says, you've lost the argument when you start a sentence with, "It's like that episode of Star Trek Voyager."
Hey, never. I rewatched Voyager in the first lockdown. I'm most of the way through Next Generation in the second lockdown. It's all good. It's all going in. What?
I tried. I started to. I couldn't. It's just it's too old now.
Do you know when we finish the show tonight? I'll tell you what I've got to watch. Next episode of Discovery.
I got to get into it. All right. What have we got here?
Mark
They're holding up
says-
the Jakarta fence.
Go for it.
Oh, sorry.
Go on, go for it.
Mark said they're holding up the Jakarta fence. I don't know.
Because the news source that you had.
Yeah.
Mark says, when the yuppies moved to South London, they started calling Battersea... Oh, it's very difficult to read these out, isn't it? Battersea. Clapham was Clam, and Streatham St Wreatham. Nice. Britt says, I'm just off to make a cuppa with my Ket Tel Wheelie. Now, what a great thing to do. Let's have a thing where people message in almost illegible things, and we have to try and read them on a live stream.
I can't even read the things that are legible. So Sal says he only hired Bill Barr because he thought he was Bill Burr.
Yeah,
Could be
William Shakespeare.
That's got to be a tough booking to fill.
It shows you have logic beyond the stars, says Mark, when it comes to quoting The Voyager. I agree.
Whatevs.
Let's have a look. Mark said, yeah, it was her version of Jolene, which actually, to be fair, was a better pun than I came up with. When we knew that Dolly Parton funded a vaccine, she did a version where the word vaccine and Jolene rhymed and were replaced.
Yeah.
And I went off down some alleyway of researching 9 to 5. And she shaves before performances, so it helps.
Well, we don't know we don't know that.
Should it be Keatley? The Keatley. I shall pop on the Keatley and have a cuppa.
And Jack says that 17 Attorneys General could be a rugby song, which may or may not. I mean, you're asking. Do you know what a rugby song sounds like, Steve?
The things that people sing when they watch rugby. I'm aware of sports, just because.
That's a very vague response. Kay Burley would not let you get away with that response. They're the songs that you sing at rugby. That doesn't tell me anything about the songs.
What's she going to do about it? She's at home for 6 months.
She's going home in a... Anyway, is that a rugby song?
Yeah. All right. So, if you're enjoying the show, by any stretch, chuck some coins in our pot. It would really help fund the various... And what's the latest goal? Because on Ko-fi, there's a goal available.
Oh, yeah. Let me see. We do have goals. Hold on. I forgot what it is now. That's how close it is to our hearts. We change it up. It
is appreciated. But we just don't pay attention to it.
The next goal is a new stretch trousers. Because it's been a long time, long lockdown, and now we're starting to get the occasional live gig, and we do need new, slightly bigger clothes.
Yeah.
So, can you help?
Awkward. Yeah, I'm going to go back on the diet again because I've got a gig in like 2 weeks, and I'm just going to be too fat on stage. Because here, perfectly fine. Look at that. This jacket don't fit, but no one's asking me to close it.
Nope, I ain't standing up right now. You don't want to see what I got on.
Right. So, chuck some money in the pot would be appreciated. Keep spreading the word. Keep sending some messages. On to another problem.
Here we go.
And I say another problem. I'm going to have a proper go at it this time. I want to try and talk about the EU. And I'm going to avoid don't mention the Nigella. I'm going to try and talk about the EU. So, same headline again. Johnson fails to secure Brexit concession. I tell you, when you're going to negotiate with someone who's got their mask that's the European flag. Okay, I've already done that one. So, instead, why don't we look at the front page of the Telegraph? This might be my favourite picture that any newspaper's ever used. Because it looks like a publicity shot for a Richard Curtis rom-com. She was the president of a council he was trying to leave, but something kept bringing him back this fall. That would be a great film. I watched. He goes bumbling, being all British. They have some sort of romance. But seriously, it looks like it's turning into a massive mess, and it's going to cause us problems. We can't just sit here and laugh at it, because the Eye tells us that food costs could rise by almost £60 a month if we don't get a deal. Oh yeah, because that's fine. We can all just stomach the extra 60 quid, given that no one's got any work and food's already expensive enough. While we're talking about food, front page of the Mirror today, they're stockpiling. Tesco is stockpiling in case of a no deal, which shocked me. Tesco, if you're watching, and I know you're a big fan of the show, how have you not already stockpiled for lockdown 1, lockdown 2, and the 15 other deadlines that were missed to do with Brexit? If you've not stockpiled by now, what have you been waiting for? This spare room that we broadcast in, over there, it's mainly on this side tinned goods, that side toilet roll. Which when you look at them both all in one, you kind of think like, oh, it's just the two ends of the same story. Like, you're in a tin now, but you're going to end up over there next to that thing. So also, here we go, this is the app that I have of the Metro. Britons could face an EU travel ban. And what I really like about that story is it's nice to get a headline where you're not really sure if it's a COVID story or a Brexit story. I don't know. Like, it could be either. It's the two biggest stories. They're both impacting our life. Which one is it? Well, turns out a little bit of both. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Because we leave the EU, the COVID rules means that we might not be able to get into Europe. I like that. It's like a mashup. It's like a crossover episode. Like when some character from Cheers travels to Seattle to see Frasier. It's like, oh, it's a crossover one. It's quite nice. But it is an absolute mess. I can't believe we've got to this stage. We were talking before we came on the show, on air, if that's what you call this, about we'll both be on radio and stuff in the future talking about this. And I wouldn't have minded as much if the narrative was always probably not going to get a deal. But we were lied to. We were promised it would be the easiest deal. Oven-ready deal and the easiest trade negotiations ever were the two narratives that came through. So when I was stood there, filling in my little form, thinking, shall I vote to leave or remain? Well, the Leave people say we'll definitely get a deal. I like deals. If you tick that, you were lied to. And now they'll move the goalposts and they'll say, well, it was never going to happen and we don't need one anyway. That's not... Still, I would be perfectly happy in having lost a referendum if the other side were actually honest about it, rather than had some spin on it. So, while I'm being angry about this, to find out more, I'm joined by a Brexit MP. Hello.
Hello, Steve.
You said it'd be the easiest deal ever. You were wrong, yeah?
No, we weren't wrong. This is the easiest deal in history.
Then why hasn't it been done yet?
Well, it's because the Europeans haven't gone along with everything we asked. If they would have just acquiesced to all of our demands, we could have had this wrapped up in no time, in the oven, gas mark 6, bish bash bosh, everyone's eating brie.
That's not really how deals work, though, is it?
But if it would have gone like that, it would have been the easiest deal in history. Besides, we don't need a deal with Europe. We can have deals with other markets.
And how are those coming along?
Mixed bag. Some of them don't want to go along with everything we're asking. So, yes.
What are the EU doing that's causing the problem right now, then?
Yes, the EU are being intransigent, refusing to break some of their red lines.
And are we going to cross our red lines?
I don't think you know what a red line is, Steve. It is something that we simply cannot cross. Read a book. And besides, we simply have to deliver on what we promised during the election.
That we get a deal?
Yes.
And are we going to get a deal?
No, but it's not as easy as that.
You just said it was the easiest deal in history.
We seem to have a bad line.
That's what we're dealing with.
Him.
I Burley'd myself.
Is that what you do in your free time?
Yeah. I mean, that's what we do. That's what we do with our spare time here.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think it's clear. I think they said we get a deal and we don't get a deal. It's just like every promise my parents made.
In the message section, we go. Mark says crossovers like when Reginald Barclay was in Star Trek Voyager. That wasn't just one episode as well. He was in it for a whole strand. He's the reason they get back. Because, yes, originally he was the nervous Reg Barclay in Next Generation. He's nervous apart from the episode where he gets that extra superpowered brain. But, yeah, he's on Jupiter Station. Eventually he finds a way to use the array to send messages. Beautiful.
It's a different show, Steve. Here's a message. Hi, Kay Burley here. Just to say I'm watching, gents. Always watching.
Nice.
She does have time on her hands.
If it all kicks off, I'll call Nigella. She'll go. I'll pretend to be a potato and tell Nigella to go and kill. Dear.
Let's see. And Mark says, and you're worried about your suit, Steve. I'm guessing this is aimed at you. Johnson looks like he grew out of it 15 years ago.
Oh, I know. It's such a costume for him, isn't it?
It's just like the disheveled. I don't get the disheveled, the hair and the suit. It doesn't. I don't get it.
It seems to work. He's doing better than we are.
What? I don't think so. Not based on the pound.
Oh yeah, but we're asking for pounds in a charity pot. He stood there, a big mess, going, no deal. He's going to be fine either way. We're going like, is there a chance you could put a quid in our little web link? It'd really help.
Kofi works with all currencies, though.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Chris says, I could never get my head round his character. He will always be Howling Mad Murdoch from the A-Team. Yeah, it was difficult.
So there we go.
What other messages we got coming in here as well? I think we're up to date with Oh yeah, Mark says, I think Mitch Benn summed Brexit up perfectly. Check out his song "Suck Your," and then there's a bleeped out word. I don't know why I said suck. Sorry, own your something. Because I was trying to guess which swear word begins with an S. And
suck your shoe.
I'd got down to the poo one, and then I thought suck, and then
I like that as a phrase. You know what? Why don't you go suck your own shit? I think my kids can hear me doing this show. Okay.
It's the education they've always needed.
Yes, I think we're getting towards the end. We are back next Tuesday, aren't we, Steve?
Yeah, back next Tuesday. I've just seen on Twitter as well, because our tweet things are up there.
Oh, yeah.
Ben, in fact, let's try and see. Can we go on Comment Cam so I can read some of these?
Comment Cam.
Ben says a microwave is just what they call it in IKEA. Nice. But he's actually written microwave with like umlauts over some of the vowels, direses or whatever. Good. Nice.
Can you do that on Twitter?
Yeah. You got to search for the dots to be able to do the microwave. But it's doable.
So like covfefe.
the cafe McCur.
Right. And are you doing? I'm doing live gigs. I am doing a live gig this weekend. Two live gigs potentially.
Blimos. So where are your live gigs?
Covent Garden Comedy Club in central London, and then the Bearcat, which is apparently sold out because Tim Vine is on.
Yeah, and they're also only allowed 30 people.
4 people. In the pub.
No live gigs for me this weekend. I did one last weekend, and next weekend I've got 2, which I'm terrified about. But I'm on Talk Radio tomorrow arguing about Brexit, which is why I did all the research for today's show. So I haven't.
I bet Julia's going to be happy about Kay, though. That'll be interesting to see what she has to say about that.
I think that'll be a tricky one because I think we'll agree. Because I don't think she should have stuck to the rules, but I'm sure everyone on that station is saying that she shouldn't be punished in any way. But then they don't like Sky News because they consider Sky News to be too left-wing and Remainy.
It's neutral and a news. Anyway, right. But we will be back here Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the UK, or whatever time it is, wherever you are. We do different times.
Get yourself subscribed.
Please. Yeah, and we appreciate everybody that bought us a drink tonight. So there's been a few come through. But if you can't do that and you're enjoying the show, subscribe to the channel, tell people about the channel, watch all of our old shows on the channel, come around the house with a mask on, and no, don't do that. I went too far, didn't I?
Yeah. Speaking of going too far, have you seen the comment from Mark? We're back to Eric's Willy again.
What?
It's been a while. It's been a while since Eric programmed in nudity into the show.
There hasn't been any.
I mean, it's not that there's not been any ever. There's not been any for a few weeks now.
All right, Tuesday. I'll work on something.
Now look what we're into. All right. Well, I think we're up to date. Till next time.